Well, today we are looking at Acts 10, which Kirsty explained and described in great detail last weekend during our Sunday morning service. So if you missed that, feel free to skip back to see Kirsty's preach. It's a great chapter in Acts where we see a Roman soldier called Cornelius experience a visitation whereby an angel instructed Cornelius to go to Joppa and meet Peter. Further on in this passage, we find Peter and Cornelius together at Cornelius's house. In verse 34, Peter says, "I now realize how true it is that God does not show favoritism, but accepts from every nation the one who fears him and does what is right." You see, Peter has learned a big lesson here in Acts 10. That despite his differences with Cornelius, on paper, they are so different. In fact, they are enemies. Their interests, in terms of one being a Roman and one being a Jew, is completely opposite and contradictory. But yet, Peter has learned that God loves his enemies and can unify himself and Cornelius through Jesus dying on the cross and through the love of the Father. You see, the other day I was on my way to work and I was listening on the radio to a psychologist who was talking about some research she conducted based on our social behaviour during COVID-19 pandemic. And the research concluded, perhaps not to our surprise or to a surprise, that humans are more inclined to look at strangers as a threat to our loved ones and to also blame them for the things which are going wrong in society. So suggesting particularly that we often view those who are culturally different, particularly in this circumstance in terms of nationality and age, difference in generations. And if I'm being honest, I can often fall into the trap of being prejudiced. And prejudging others speaks a whole lot more about me than it actually does the person I am judging. I think it actually exposes sin, my own sin, in two ways. Firstly, I've mistaken my role as a follower of Jesus. The Bible clearly illustrates that it has never been or will ever be our purpose as Christians to judge. Jesus said, "Let the one among you who is without sin cast the first stone." Of course, no one is without sin apart from Jesus. And of course, I'm not encouraging us to not uphold the truths of Christianity and to waver in our faiths and in biblical principles. I'm not saying that, but I am saying that grace and mercy, remembering what Peter has learnt in Acts 10, means that we do not show favoritism, means that we know that God does not show favoritism. It is a vital principle of living a life of faith. And secondly, prejudging others exposes our struggle to fully comprehend the love of our Father. It exposes my struggle to fully comprehend the love of our Father, which of course breaks all boundaries and is something we can all encounter. You know, it is not for me to determine who does and does not have access to a relationship with God through the cross. Christianity should not be a secret to the world, to keep our own exclusive club we like to call church. No, my role is actually the complete opposite. I should be the megaphone for the gospel. My only life purpose, in short, is to actually make Jesus known and to know him more. Thank you, guys.